Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so I have Jeremy Jacobus on the line, and he's president and CEO over at Flux Credit. Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Hey, Adam. Nice talking to you. How you doing?
Oh, man, all is well over here, and I'm excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk about what consumers should know about credit. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into what you're doing over at Flux Credit. Tell us a little bit more about your company, please.
Certainly. So just a little bit about me first. For 15 years, I was on the debt collection side. I was that evil telephone tough guy collecting the debts from people that owed money. So this happens to people every day in America, anywhere in the world, actually. I found myself more customer service friendly, really wanting to help people. So I branched off, and me and my partner, Travis, we co-founded this company, Flux Credit, to really help the consumer, because we knew the ins and outs of what it takes to resolve the debts. And the typical consumers are at the mercy of, they have the phone call, a debt collector is calling them, what do I do? I'm in debt, do I file bankruptcy? So we've created solutions to help them avoid bankruptcy, help them avoid paying way too much on their accounts. Once they're already in collections or legal status, whatever it may be, there's a better solution. And we provide that as a service at the lowest possible cost out there.
And I love that, and I think you're doing a great service out there. And I think that's also a great transition to today's topic. So what consumers should know about credit. So you've been on both sides now. You've been on the side of collecting. You're on the side of obviously helping now, and I think it gives you a very unique vantage point in the industry. So where do you want to start this topic on what consumers should know?
Sure. I mean, it's absolutely so broad, so it really depends on what stage you're at. Every credit situation is unique and different. We encounter almost everything. So just quickly, for someone that is, say, current on their bills, why is their credit score low? Why do I have a 620 credit score? I'm paying my bill on time every month. One quick sample could be, let's just say they have a Capital One credit card for $500 and they charge up $200 every month, but they pay that bill in full every month. They go to creditkarma.com, they see it's green, it's in good standing, but their credit score is low. Everything looks perfect, they have a $200 balance, they're paying it off every month, they're paying no interest. The problem is it's reporting a $200 balance. So in this circumstance, an easy solution is make that payment maybe a week earlier. Pay it before the statement date. When you make that payment before the statement date, it's going to report a zero balance, which means you're using 0% of your availability. From 0 to 50% of your availability could make a 40-point difference on your credit score. So just by backing up that payment, making it a couple weeks earlier, your score could be 40 points higher. So if you go buy your next car, your interest rate may be 2.9% instead of 6.9%, which could save you a couple $1,000s in interest.
Wow. What a small adjustment and a small thing like credit. And the thing is, and my listeners know this, so our episodes are between 10 to 15 minutes, give or take a couple minutes either way. So obviously the world of credit, not to oversimplify this. So you're only here with a short while for us today. I'm going to give us some tips. But that being said, at the end of this, I'm going to give you the opportunity to leave some contact information for people that want to learn more about Flux Credit and what you can do for them. What are but I want to make sure the right types of individuals follow up with you. What are the typical types of clients that are usually a good fit for Flux Credit?
Sure. So most of our clients are going to come in because they may have already had legal summons. They've been sued by a creditor, for example, and what do I do? So we'll get those kind of clients, or, we'll get a client that is maybe just a couple months behind or is maxed out on their credit card and they don't want to maybe default, or maybe they are defaulted. So we'll get that kind of range, someone that's already in credit trouble. So as far as trying to pay that balance in full, okay, that's a dream come true, maybe down the road. So what we'll do is we'll take on these clients that are having hardship. They're either behind, they're being sued, or whatever the case may be. We'll get them into our program. So maybe they were paying $500 a month, monthly payments before. We'll knock that down to, say, $250, for example. And we'll start going to work. We'll send out a power of attorney to each creditor. We'll start working with those creditors. We're networked. We've been in business since 2015. I've been in the industry since 2005. we are networked with all the agencies throughout the country, most of them anyways, and the attorneys. So we're national. And we do have great settlement authorities with them already blanketed in. I'm not going to give out names, but for example, they'll give us a 50% settlement. They'll let us go 4 years interest free. They'll allow us to make $10 monthly payments. No consumer will be able to get that deal with that creditor. And by the way, that creditor is publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange. So they won't be able to get that kind of deal, but we got it. We got it locked in. So it's all about strategy, understanding, reviewing their credit report, putting that together. And then, yes, slowly and surely, maybe within 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, depending on how much budget they have, how much debt they have, we get them from maybe a 600 credit score, could go down to 500, but at the end of the program, they're going to have a 700 credit score. Better than that, they graduate our program with money in the bank. We dedicate some that they're paying into a savings account, which is also going to back a Visa secured card through our partner, Bank of Louisiana. What's great about that is once they're getting that credit card, that's going to give them a credit boost of, say, 40 points. And now that little tip example that I said early on in the program, go ahead and make those payments ahead of the statement date so you're maximizing your credit. So even before they graduate the program, they're going to have a new credit card, and by the time they're done, they're going to be debt-free. Net worth should be a positive number, not a negative number. So we get people that are insolvent, we turn them into the Flux lifestyle, out of debt, way sooner than before, and money in the bank.
And so the bottom line here, though, is that there's hope. Like, there really is hope. Like, that it's not the end of the world if you've been through some hardship, and as long as you're working with the right type of professionals, meaning you don't have to go at this alone. Like, there's help out there, and there's hope. So if you're out there listening to this right now and you think that there isn't any, I mean, Jeremy just brought up a couple of things where you're like, what? I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't know it was possible that you have these arrangements and that you've been working in the industry, but it makes sense. I mean, and you know how the saying goes, right? You don't know what you don't know, right?
Exactly. And I'll be honest, when I was younger, I was going through hard times and I didn't know, and I went the wrong course. I was paying $3,000 a month on all my minimum bills for at least 12 months, going nowhere, sideways. And it ended up into a bad situation. I could not make a dent. Sometimes you have to make that sacrifice. And when you contact our office, we have a personal concierge. It might be myself because I'm very hands-on. We'll communicate with you and tell you that, what we think would benefit you given your circumstance. So it can go so many different ways, but we're definitely here to help. I do want to say one thing. There's no magic wand. You have to do the hard work. Some of these people come to us because they were with, say, a credit repair company. Now, we do credit repair work as well, which is great because we do debt settlement, credit repair. We offer the credit card. We do everything. But there are some standalone companies that advertise, I'm not going to name names, but they have this magic wand. Pay us $150 a month and we'll make your credit better. That doesn't work. All that does is sends out notices to credit bureaus to say this account doesn't belong there, and sometimes it comes off your credit report. But the problem is that company you still owe money to, they could still sue you even though it may come off your credit report. So for a minute, your credit score may be a little bit higher, but now you're even more at risk. You have to think of it this way. Your credit report is your Bible. It is your book telling you what is going on with your credit life. And if you got one of those things disappeared, what if they sue you? Now you don't know because they took it off the credit for you, but it's still a liable debt. It goes deeper than that with statute of limitations and so on and so forth. But, there's a lot going on, and we cover everything. And our consultation's free, so you can always give us a call. We'll talk about it. Send us an email. We'll chat back and forth. Full credit solution.
That's awesome. And so what's that contact information, Jeremy? So if somebody's listening to this and they're like, all right, this guy sounds good. He knows what he's talking about, obviously been in the industry for a long time. What's the best way for people to reach out?
Yeah, best way, just go to the website. You can do it through fluxcredit.com. That's Flux, like FLUX credit.com. And we also own the domain fluxvisa.com. Either way, it goes to the same site. That's our site. All of our information's there, phone number. You can chat online. You can send an email. But go to the website. That's the way to start.
Fantastic. Well, Jeremy, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great things you're doing over at Flux Credit to help consumers. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave some comments on the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Jeremy, thanks again for coming on the show.